my god, another one.
Another one.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
Hello guys, can you hear me? Sound check, sound check.
Alvarin the Supreme.
Sound good. Can't hear. All right, great, thank you. How are we doing today? Time goes really fast. It feels like Thursday is like within 2 or 3 days. You forgot about summertime, didn't you? No, that's exactly why I'm 1 hour later. What, or... Yeah, exactly. So 1900 UTC is always the time, so it's clear for everyone. And if you type 1900 UTC and Google to your local time, you will see the correct time. So if I type it to Sweden time, that is 9 o'clock, which it is right now. So should be right, if I'm not mistaken, guys. Nice. This guy is Robmo. So I'm Henrik, if you didn't know. And yeah, so we got that link sorted in Discord, so that's great. Gigashad haircut. All right, so today we have a few exciting things to go through. So as you know, we've been working on finally putting date to the roadmap, the upcoming roadmap. We have one Mortal Line 2 copy to give away, and we also have 3 mouses from Logitech to give away as well. So yeah, some goodies today. So that's gonna be interesting. I love this game. I'm happy to hear it. We are working very hard. So just a brief update. What's going on? The latest current. 3 mice, not mouses. Indeed. It is my Swedish rules that doesn't comply with the English plurals. Correct. Mice. So as you know, I've been working very hard on the back end in several locations, both on server capacity, stability, but also different types of security anti-cheat systems, which have taken quite a lot of time from us, sadly, but necessary. As you know, we're getting closer to some important milestones as well to proceed in the more growing state. Since release, we had to pause pretty much everything. Quite unfortunate it had to be paused that hard and this long. But I think that looking back in the long run, we are here for the long run. And looking back on this start, I think most of us agree that it's necessary to get the core foundation in a solid state, and we have proper control over what's going on in game, and then we can start building forward again. So we've been doing several updates on that quite frequently, and that is also why you see the alt servers going up and down while we do very specific monitor tests. Yeah, so that is why you see those go up and down. But obviously, as we mentioned before, the alt Mirlands is only temporarily until we are, taking the next step. So we're down to one alternate Mirland, and we will only run that until we are finished with a few different states on the main backend. And then yes, that means, so we've been doing what we can as a team, obviously also taking the time to polish and bug fix as much as we can as a whole team. But now, slowly but steady, there are quite a few developers that simply can't help with the backend anymore. They need to, and that allows them to proceed forward on our normal schedule, pretty much. So that means that we have had time to finalize the roadmap dates. We have set that out, which I'm gonna show you guys in a moment here, and we'll also put it on the website for everyone to see as well. So that is that. I do also have one little sneak peek picture of an upcoming creature, and that can also be a mount. Pretty cool. Again, a very updated, corrected creature of Mirland. I think it also is on Sarga, actually. Not the Mulva. So what order do we go here? So we have, let me see. We have that new creature, sneak peek. So the actual model is finished. The texture material is not finished, but I think it's always interesting to show some of those upcoming creatures. And then, yeah, we have the roadmap that we can go through as well. Shall we start with the creature then? Let me find it. So, where the hell? Okay. All right. Can anyone of you guys guess what creature this is? It's quite upgraded and updated since the first game. A big cow.
Oh my god.
That is correct. It's the Gaur. It is the Gaur. So there are some resemblance with bulls, wisens, but not really one of those. So this is the Gaur. Pretty cool, I have to say. I like it. So that will be a creature you can hunt in the near future. And this, along with many other suitable creatures, we plan to allow you guys to put gear on it and also eventually mount it. So we're currently going through animators for our game, and our plan is to expand that position so we can, because there are several areas in our game that where we have a little bottleneck in terms of producing content, and that is specifically one of them is animation. It's not easy to find what we're looking for, but plan are to expand on animation in the team so we can progress in multiple areas, not only one area at a time when it comes to animation. So we will see creatures, obviously new creatures, bosses, and we have new equipment as well for players. And the third big thing is all the creatures that can be mountable and also wear gear requires animation work. So that is something we are working on expanding currently. Do you guys have an in-house animator? Yes, we do, but we plan to expand it even more so we can, as I mentioned, work more wider simultaneously, so you can see different types of updates in every patch here and there. Slopius Joe with the gifts. Did my notice die on me? Or is it delayed? Why? Let me see. Is it working, guys?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Looks like it's
Another one.
looks like it's working. All right. Yeah, thanks guys. Thank you, Slappies Joe. Always killing it with the gifts. All right. So, shall we proceed to the roadmap? We've been waiting on that one for quite a while. We discussed a few things in the upcoming content, but as I mentioned, we haven't really got to the point in nailing the time frame or timelines for that. So finally, we're taking the first step, and this is what was, very exciting. During the whole beta, we had huge systems every second week. One bonus we really pushed forward with, why we could release insane system extremely fast, for two reasons. One, a lot of it we have from the first game, and secondly, we really made the best use out of the beta to get stuff out and get it in place very quickly and then polish it from there. So now obviously there will be one important difference, and that is we can't just throw them out without being properly tested and confirmed, obviously. So there's a few things we're looking at here. There are a few big systems on the roadmap that requires more large-scale testing. So we're looking at having a branch available for the public to simply log in and try some of those things. One very particular is sieging with TC. It's very complex, and we're rebuilding quite a lot of pieces there. We need to make sure it's working, stable, and is balanced as much as possible. As you can understand, it's a very sensitive feature for all of us in the game because it involves wrecking valuable assets and such. So all right, let me bring up the roadmap here and let's go through it together, guys. I'm gonna remove that one, and I'm gonna show you this one. So here it is. So 1 second, guys. We can go through it a little bit. All right. So there's a lot going on right now in roadmap. As you can see, release of April, the coming month. We have 2 patches. They're quite filled, you know. Again, it's a lot of stuff going on quite rapidly, but we feel we have a very good plan for this and have been preparing for this. So the first patch we're looking at in mid-April, we have house functions, which is very important to simply promote housing, you know, to a deeper meaning and give them proper functions for you guys to control your houses, have co-owners and friends and guilds to also access your house, depending on what kind of rules you set. So those specific rules are coming in with that patch. Clade respec, obviously we need to be able to respec our clades so we can refine our character whenever we want. And it comes at a gold sync. And then, yeah, we have quite important functions for our NPCs. Some quality of life there where you can access banks and vendors without having to struggle too much. It's a never-ending growing problem if we don't scale up bank insanely, and we thought that radius command will help greatly. And then we have placeable functions that allows us to add things like campfires and portable machineries, etc. Along with that, there's a lot of, again, heavy backend stuff going on that, you know, there's no reason to leave that on the roadmap. And obviously bug fixes. In the end of that April, we have a very important system that is finally getting fully fledged to give players better control over their reputation and standings and wars. So bounty and flagging system. So this means that, again, we talked about this a few times, where murderers can be hunted by bounty hunters, and you can force declare wars with a few specific rules that applies for different guilds. There's an upkeep for starting these wars. And that means you can obviously force a war onto a guild and have wars without any consequences. So there's quite a few different functions going in with this. The bounty hunter system is very cool. It's heavily inspired from Star Wars Galaxies, the bounty hunter hunting Jedi Knights. So in short, you can become a murderer or a bounty hunter. If you want to sign up for a bounty hunter, you visit a specific NPC and you will pay a fee to start doing some job there. So you will get a last known abouts from one possible murder in Maryland. You will also get a last position and distance, and that means you get kill rights for that murder. And from this NPC, you can also buy different tools for the bounty hunter, such as a very specific bird that is trained to track targets and pretty much update you. So this means you can buy some of those tools. You head out towards the decision, the last known abouts from this guy you're hunting. And when you're there and you don't see one, you can send out a new bird to scout the murderer. And that bird will give you indication of where he may be now. So there's always a small delay, almost like stream sniping, guys. You know, watching the stream, there's what, 30-second delay. So it can be tricky to find the guy you're looking for when someone is streaming. A very rough, comparison. But anyway, this bird will give you the location and distance pretty much. So you can continue hunt these murders. And then obviously when you do see them, they are not protected in any guard city whatsoever because you do have the kill rights, which means you will see him in a very specific color and you can kill him whenever, however, and take his head. And you will have his name on the head, and obviously you'll go back to your bounty hunter, put it in, you will get bounty hunter score and some rewards tied to that as well. And titles and different tools that you can also access the deeper you go into this profession. Same goes for murderers that is working as assassins. You know, if they choose to take the evil path, there will also eventually be assassin missions tasks, both for especially for NPCs, but obviously if you're going the murder path, you are, you know, evil, and you may be hunted from the bounty hunters. So a pretty cool system that engage both sides in an interesting way. So there's quite a lot going on in that that part. And then we have the legendary weapons. We're finally done visually with those. We're missing a few code parts that we're gonna finish as well, which means you will be able to find rares in the world. And as a Grandmaster Smith, you can finally make use of that and choose to include that rares when you're crafting a weapon. And that weapon gonna look badass. You know, it's gonna look unique to that component. Galaxy, the Jedi didn't know they were being hunted only after the bounty hunter showed up. Yeah, and pretty much the same here. As a murderer, you don't get an indication that you're hunted. Bounty hunter may show up at any time, and if they have the kill rights, not even the guards will protect you. So it's the dangerous path, obviously, to walk as a murderer, but could be exciting as well, obviously. And we have a decoration package. So now we're finally ironing out those decoration bugs we had. We obviously intend to give you a lot of awesome content to further decorate your houses, and eventually over time these decoration, a lot of them will also have effects and functions. For instance, a proper bed may give you a experience bonus when you have logged out and been logged out in that bed for X amount of hours, and when you log in back you may have a little bonus on your experience. Similar things like that, small but cool things that make sense and fits to the decoration as well. Yeah, there will be a bounty hunter board as well, and obviously this is something we can expand into, you know, a lot. There's a lot of cool ideas and suggestions from you guys that make sense that we may want to add eventually as well. You know, having a bounty hunter list, it comes with a few rules, because like I mentioned, we want to make sure that it can't be abused in a wrong way. For instance, we can't just add a bounty hunter with a hit list on 1,000 gold, because if you see that your head is worth 1,000 gold on a bounty that the games gives you, obviously there's nothing. I mean, there are mechanics that makes it difficult, but if you know that the game will give you this, players can start working against trying to get that bounty yourself. So that is also why there's a randomized system behind who gets the bounty rights, and there are specific reward and penalty that is, you know, obviously difficult to abuse. But we do want to have, again, it's a free sandbox, you know, where players can decide, I want to put 100 gold on his head. If someone brings me his head, he will get the 100 gold. You know, it's up to the players. That will always be a function that could be available as well in this system. So players can also add to that if they want to, and whoever gets the head may also get that bounty. Yeah, exactly, Nagasi. That's exactly what I mentioned. So if you see 100 gold on your head, you can't just kill yourself and put it in. There's no automatic put it in and you get it. So In this way, any bounty hunter that signs up gets the kill rights. So it's only him that can get those rewards. But we can also support where any player can also choose to add, I want to add additional 10 gold on this on this guy's head because I don't know, I don't like him. And the first one to fill that order may get that price. So you see a little bit how it is. And the reason why sieging isn't a priority. I'm coming to that. It is a priority. But like I mentioned, it's not just it's a specific way of how we need to work and develop things, and big systems that is pretty much the most sensitive system in the game that can wreck a city, keep whatever, that needs to be 100% stable and as balanced as possible. So we can't just rush out a siege system that is half rushed, half unstable, and bam, sorry, you lost whatever because a stupid bug, or completely unbalanced or not fun. So we highly respect those heavy big features, and they are not quick features. A lot of work is required for many of these features that involves pretty much the whole team in different areas, from effects, animators, 3D artists, to obviously coders. So we need to be make sure that we do things in a correct way. But anyway, I will get to that as well. And like I said, bug fixes is obviously something going on in the background all the time as well. And then next month, so this is the thing also, you know, we have said that yes, TC and sieging are two huge systems that are prioritized in the beginning of the release. If you imagine that if things worked as, you know, planned, I mean, obviously as we mentioned, we're prepared for chaos at release. We didn't have a clue though how much and how much chaos, how many players, and how much we would have to spend on the back end. You know, if things worked perfect, we didn't get any huge influx of players, which actually was our initial plan, not to overhype or add insane amount of features that will simply attract many players. We actually said that we will not have housing in a lot of features because one of those reasons. We're a small company, small team, and we want to grow the capacity under control. Very similar how it was during the beta. We were slowly growing during the beta. We had frequently updates. Everything was growing, but at a pace where we could control it. And the struggle here was, you know, everyone said, don't release it yet, add this and that, because even more players will like it. Obviously, they will, and we agree. And we add a few things, we did what we could, but again, we got more than we expected, and it blew out of the proportion where we obviously didn't grow steadily and small anymore. And that's why we got heavy problems. So it was a challenge there, you know, trying to release, soft release, as we mentioned, again, releasing in early access. It was for a reason. It was to get a good amount of players, but not 100,000 in the same day. So, you know, it was a challenge, and we did what we thought was correct, and we listened a lot to new guys to postpone it and add even more. And we knew it's going to be a challenge. And we would also hope that people were prepared for that. So I hope you understand what I'm getting at here. We did absolutely what we could. And we knew that a huge amount of more players coming on top of the beta would mean a challenge. So yeah, so that means we're taking the step now where we're getting that stability and capacity back. And now, so imagine if we released in the early state without the huge audience, and we didn't have to pause the game for almost 3 months and can continue roadmap. That means that we would have all of this pretty much already, and have those start step in TC. But all of that had to be paused and hold. Unfortunately, not very exciting 3 months we fully understand that. But again, necessary. And we're not here for the short run cash grab or anything like that. We're here to create a serious sandbox MMORPG for everyone interested. And obviously we paused the subscription because, again, if the backend wasn't where we wanted to be, we didn't feel obviously right for starting a subscription because of that. And we still don't have a date for starting subscription. Like I mentioned, if as long as we reach the steps in the backend and we have that full on control, that's when we can start look at where we find reasonable to again start subscription. And again, we want to grow the game as steady as possible, and that is a huge challenge because again, if the game explodes again, we release the game on Epic Game Store and streamers pick it up and we have some awesome content and features going in. If that means we're getting like 50,000 again on a very short period of time, it's a huge stress for our whole servers and all the different pipelines. So in a preferably world, we would actually want to grow slow but steady. Very similar how we did in the beta. That was, exciting for the players. Something cool was happening every second week. We had, very good control over the whole, everything from backend to obviously the game content. So we'll go back to that procedure in a more careful way, if that makes sense. And so this works now simultaneously, where we still have a few dedicated on polish bug fixing and the backend capacity, while now the rest can continue on this roadmap. And don't misunderstand me, we do want to attract a lot of players. We want to be the biggest sandbox game in the world eventually. But like I said, we're here for a long time. The first game we have been running for over 10 years. This one we plan to run obviously at least as long as that and even further. So obviously we have long-term goals. We have a lot of cool stuff on the upcoming roadmaps in, for many years to come. Nothing will stop in terms of development. Everyone will get their free expansions, obviously for free, included in the subscription. We won't be selling any expansion sets like, World of Warcraft or such. We don't have the date yet for when we start the subscription. We need a little bit more time on the back end before we feel more comfortable. And, we want to progress getting going with the roadmap so players feel that there's a growing excitement in the game again. We fully understand 3 months of silence and standing still, not very exciting, and that wasn't obviously the initial plan to have to put it on pause for that long. So finally, it's with a lot of excitement actually for the team reaching this point where the majority of developers now can continue forward. And obviously that will give you guys exciting stuff in the game in every second week from starting now. Let's just quickly go through the rest here so everyone is up to date on what's going on here. So May next month, Alchemy Effects. So what that means is we'll get some important alchemy ingredient effects that you can put in alchemy making, which means, for instance, H modifiers, weight modifiers, that simply gives the players full control in molding the character without having to reroll the character due to bad stats in character creation. So that will be in place. And then we're looking at further effects, but also over time. It's not that's it. We have additional potions such as purify potions and other magical effects that will be added also over time. Quite a lot, night vision, water breathing. There's quite a few planned to discover and use. And obviously when we get to more water content, then the later water breathing is obviously a must. It's connected. Trinkets. It was a huge success in the first game. Everyone liked it, from PvP players, PvE players, RP crafters. Anyone enjoyed these trinkets because we also knew that for us to add a very deep, high value that incorporates character progression, we knew that we had to make them, soul bound in a special way. So there's actually a value and worth the investment looking into this. So that means you can find, we will have 5 different tiers. So noobs obviously may start looking into the tier 1 trinkets without, having to go to too much struggle or danger. And then obviously it goes all the way up to tier 5 trinkets, which is the more rare, dangerous, difficult ones to obtain. As soon as you put these rings or amulets on your character, they will kind of bound to your soul and give those powers to your character as long as they have a charge active. So that means if you die having a ring on your finger, that power connected to your character won't drop. So this is one of those special cases where you can't simply drop them when you wear them, and no one can loot them from you. But if you do have them in your inventory, for instance, if you are trinket hunting, obviously if someone kills you, then those in your inventory will be looted or lootable. And we're looking at these trinkets have 3 charges. If you die, one of these charges releases when you carry them. And if they reach 0, that means the power is lost in them, so they don't give you the bonus. That means you need to recharge them at the cost, so it's also a great money sink. You refill this charge and you can use their powers again. What's a trinket? It's the name for magical rings and amulets, pretty much, that gives bonuses to your character. So, and this is the cool part, when these rings are generated, it's like, pretty much like Diablo, but even more. The combination put together on these rings are over, I don't know if it's 20 or 30 millions, I don't remember exactly. But as you can understand, there's an infinite thing to look for. It doesn't mean that it's the, a requirement. It won't make you best in PvP or anything magic like that. What it does help with is giving possibilities for you to push your character build further. Like you can find an amulet that may have a specific skill bonus. So that means you can refine your character skill distribution in a new way. And also some of the rings have stat bonuses, which means obviously again you will refine your character further. So it's interesting way of push your character progression and build more unique and further. And like I said, there are millions of combinations, so it's also a huge trade, and there's a market for trinkets, which is really cool. It was a super success in the first game, like I said, and now we're just refining it a little bit more for Mortline 2. So that is a really cool system that every player can benefit from and enjoy, from starting at tier 1 up to tier 5. Yeah, like I said, it comes at the cost. So using a tier 5, if you're dying a lot, then obviously that's going to cost you some money to use them. So you need to use them wisely and consider, do I afford to use the tier 5 trinkets? And if you get broke, then obviously you may want to go down to a tier 3 or just forget about it. It's all up to you. Like I said, it's not that it's completely changing your character or making you, conquer PvP all of a sudden. And then we get finally buy orders. So we've gone through all of these points, and now we finally know all the parts that we need to fix to get buy orders fully graded and added to the game. And buy orders, you can see that on a broker. It's a very important trade system for the players. You can put up a buy orders, for instance, if you have a lot of money but have less gameplay time or whatever reason you don't, or you're not interested in, gathering specific resources. You can always put up a buy order that I want 10,000 salvia or 10,000 wood or stone or whatever resources or thing you may be looking for, and put a buy price on that. And that means any player in the game can choose to sell up to that max amount. So if you put a buy order on 10,000 and this is a noob that have 1,000 of them, he can sell those 1,000 into your buy order and continue working and filling your buy order. So again, a very 10k salvia. that was an example, right? So again, a very important system that allows the player to trade between each others. So yeah, very much looking forward to get that in place finally as well. Again, additional bug fixing, not to forget that we're not ignoring things that may occur or simply things that we still have. We have a very specific list of what we see as the top annoyance we have right now that we are intending to fix as soon as we can as well. One of them is ghost avatars. I'm sure many of you have experienced it by now, what I mean with that. And also many think there's hack going on or something. So it's a good thing to be aware of. For instance, if you're running around somewhere in the world and all of a sudden you take damage and you don't see anyone near you attacking you, and there's nothing you can do about it pretty much. That means that your character is stuck in another location. That is why the name Ghost Avatar. Your avatar is stuck as a ghost somewhere else, and for that player, he see you stuck there and he can attack you. So obviously that is a big bug. It's quite rare, but and we are working on it to get that fixed as soon as we can. Bug fix every patch. Why is it on roadmap? In specific areas, we intend to spend more polish and fixing quality of life. That is why we want to, show that we mean that, and we don't want to crank in additional content that will steal that type of polish. So yeah, rare. I've seen it happen quite often. Yeah, I mean, if we look at the cases, it is rare in compared to a lot of other stuff. It's not that, every game session you do, you get killed without seeing anyone. We get reports when it happens. So we have a pretty good picture of how frequent it is. And that is part of the collecting the data. Where does it happen? Who does it happen to? If it, regardless of connection, stability, packet loss, and where on the server. All of that helps us greatly to pinpoint what goes wrong to be able to fix it. So again, any information you have along with that report is always very useful for us. The slightest detail that you may think of could actually help us identifying some of those issues. Why don't healers get Clade XP? No motivation to heal. Good question, and we actually have that in the next patch. So next patch we release, we will have that as well. So again, on this roadmap, there are quite a few small things, fixes, changes, or new updates, and that is one of them. That simply isn't, I guess, big enough to mention the roadmap. But yes, it is, I guess, important to know that next patch will allow healers to get Clade experience as well. We know obviously that any group that are going for bosses or difficult dungeons requires healers, right? And those healers will now finally get experience as well based on their healing abilities. And the last patch in May is quite exciting. Some cool stuff coming in that patch. We have the big boss that is again pushing our boundaries in the tier 2 AI. It's gonna be something new, spectacular to experience in Mortal Online, and that is one step forward in that direction. So we'll be able to play around with that. That's gonna be very cool. And obviously, again, that is so. I'm sure you've seen me watch a lot of you guys stream doing boss runs and such, and it's really fun and exciting for us to see how everything works for you and how you experience it and how you beat them eventually. So obviously, the more of that feedback and data we get, the more exciting, cool things we can do, and also offer a lot of different variation and challenges. We want to make sure that there's something for small groups, even down to solo play when it comes to bosses. Small groups, more casual teamwork, to very challenging, from small, medium to large group, where it matters how you read the opponents, how you read the weakness, and how you play together. There's been a lot of those happening as well down the road, where in some cases, obviously we want to make this a challenge in different ways. So brute force running 200 or 300 players or 100 players, can brute force through a lot, right? But obviously we learn a lot how we can make sure that you can't really bring 100 players or even 50 players and expect to beat everything. We will have some nifty, nasty things in play in terms of preventing that from happening. So you have to choose your team wisely and play well. And if you do that correct, you may be one of those beating some of these upcoming bosses. So there will be quite a variation. It's going to be interesting to see what's going on there. And I'm also going to release the Impossible Dungeon with ending. And we will see how far you guys get. It's going to be interesting. And then we also get the legendary Armory. So similar to weapons, but armor this time around. It's confirmed, Henrik Nerf from Kodo. No. I mean, I'm sure all of you guys would find a lot of joy and excitement in having a different experience when it comes to going at bosses. In many cases, you can always bring numbers. There's strength in numbers. But I also think you guys will find it very exciting that you can only bring 6 people, for instance. And you have to choose those 6 players very wisely and combine them and learn how to use those 6 characters wisely to beat specific things. I think it's quite exciting content. So obviously that is for Koto as well. Any big guild will obviously do those runs. I'm expecting at least. So high player skills and coordination in low numbers will also be a thing. Right, and then the third, Necromancy, finally. So all of you guys looking forward to magic and play as a mage and widening your options in playing a mage will get a big step forward with Necromancy. It's a very cool school. Again, we have refined it since the first game. There are, just in short, there's 3 categories for Necromancy. The first category is easy, quick summoning that raises walkers as pets. And then you can also take control over these walkers. And there's going to be an option for the Necromancer to actually... there's a Necromancy fight in terms of if there is low walkers, a higher Necromancer can actually command his minions in a brief period of time, depending on if he's a stronger or weaker Necromancer. So there will be a little interesting conflict going on there if there happens to be more than one Necromancer at the field, and if they decide to engage in that way. And obviously these pets are, creating and raising undeads is in the world seen as a scary, evil thing. So it's not thing that is openly allowed in cities. So that is something you need to consider. You can't just run in with an army of undeads or something like that in a city. The guards will react. And then there is the other section for necromancers that is obviously casting spells. There will be some really cool spells to cast. Everything from fighting, direct combat, to some AI area of damage spells, counters for pets, and in some way counters for penalize your enemies in different ways. But again, we're very careful in how players can control AoE effects and penalize them in a way without having a proper chance to react or have a chance against it. So we're very careful there. And we obviously, again, learned a lot from what we did in the first game. We found a really good balance with Necromancy in the first game. So we're going to use that as a base so we don't go over the top or underdoing it. So that it's going to be really cool effects that you can do with Necromancy. And the third section for them is rituals. So that means you will be able to learn to do rituals to raise the dead. So if a bear died, you can make a ritual to raise that bear, and it will be a zombie bear pretty much. So imagine the walkers in Game of Thrones raising them again, and they will look zombified or raw dead walking again. It's a really cool system where we intend to remake pretty much all creatures into a zombie version, so you will be able to raise them again. And in this ritual you will be able to put some component in to modify them a little bit. So it's going to be cool. And you can even raise your horse, and it's going to be a walker horse that you can ride. So pretty cool. Can I kill Gigamo and raise his body? No, not really. So this ritual is for the carcass of Gigamo's body could probably be used in the rituals, which would rise a dead version of that race. So in a way, I guess yes, but it won't be Gigamo or something like that in this case. Skeleton horse, yes, that is the racing a dead horse, pretty much. We'll give that. Or Death Knight Chase, etc. Not coming online too. So that is one of the last thing we're looking at right now. I'm talking to Mats when it comes to these things as well. All the names are being corrected as well. So you will see a rename of some spells. They will have finally their correct original names in place. And that is the last point. We're not fully decided on that yet. So there's a chance that we may not, depending on how we progress, we may not have that step ready, or we may have. So we thought that it could be that a certain combination how you use the rituals could give you a very specific walker that could have powers like a Shade or a Death Knight. So it's still a little bit unsure on specifically those. So we will see. But yeah, just raising any dead creature obviously is the big thing here. We had a Tupilak that was one of Matt's favorite abominations when it comes to the Necromancer. So I think it will have a return in Mortal Line 2 just in a modified way this time around. So that is the last question mark we still have when it comes to me and Mats designing that part. So we will see. Either we are finished with it, or simply have to come in later on when you can, discover those types of recipes in rituals. Right. So Necromancy, a huge system, obviously, as you can understand, and it involves so much, from coding to VFX, heavily on VFX, and also animation. As you know, we had quite some cool effects and animation in the first game, even though it's old. And again, as I mentioned, we have lacked quite a bit when it comes to both VFX and animation manpower for our project in Modline 2, which is obviously a little bit unfortunate. It's very difficult to find what we're looking for. We want AAA effects that isn't just the typical LOL World of Warcraft rainbow effects on the screen. We want them to be more earthbound, a little bit believable, and look exciting and mystic, and not just drain the FPS on the clients, if that makes any sense, what we're going for. So that obviously puts a lot of pressure on those artists that are creating this. But yeah, we are actually looking at recreating. Sorry, my nose is itching. So that we are trying to, when we look at the animation and effects on Modern 1, it was one of the later schools, so it's fairly updated there. But yeah, we tend to do something very similar this time around, but again, refine the actual release effects so you can get a really good feeling of when you release, hit, or miss. So that is very clear for everyone involved. We see that is a little bit lacking with especially Ecumenical, where you don't have that really connection, which kind of reduces the feeling and experience a little bit when it comes to what's going on and feedback. And that is something we learned is obviously very important. So that is something we're trying to get really solid along with Necromancy. And yeah, obviously along with that school, we have some dungeon works and creatures works that will play that further. That would be exciting, hopefully, for you guys. HV spec is with the alchemy effects that you see in mid-May. So any alchemist will be able to learn ingredients that affect your H up or down. So similar as players have discovered size ingredients, you will be able to do H ingredients. But also weight. We have heard you guys think that it's a little bit annoying to work on your weight. So we're giving better tools for you guys and alchemists to pinpoint, to refine your character in a more efficient way. So again, go to your local alchemist when that patch hits. Eventually they have learned how to do that effectively. And you may be able to buy exactly what you need for your character build. Where is easy? Don't listen to those whiners. I mean, there's obviously ways to go up or down. And when you learn how to and what kind of options, that is fully doable. But we always meant to expand on alchemy with magical effects. And it makes sense for us to also add those kind of control effects in potion. So it's just another option. If the player clueless of how to maintain their weight, you can make money selling obviously either food or potions to these players. So just another tool and business for the players and trade for the players. All right, so that's it. And so we have this section under development, and that is also to explain that how the development works is just not straightforward. We can pick anything, and then these guys or those guys are doing this or that. Everything is connected in very certain ways. So one system may require a few different developers, and if they're busy with a whole other area or feature, then obviously that feature may be delaying or waiting or something. So again, this is one of the puzzle we always have to do when we are a small team around 30 people. We don't really still have the luxury of just adding this exact list of features and just here everyone work on all of them and just deliver them straight out of that list. It's a huge challenge, believe it or not, to go through all these different complex systems, to go over with the whole team, who's doing what in what order and how does it connect. And the more developers are connected in one of these features, then obviously the greater challenge in how to finish that feature and have it fully covered in a proper way. But it's something we learned a lot during the whole project, especially since Mortal 2. We start Mortal 2. We knew what kind of change we had to do compared to the first game. So we learned a lot over those 15 years and make use of all that. And then obviously the core team that have been with us for all these years obviously have refined our ways so much more. So yeah. And then obviously there will always be those players that are not happy with the roadmap, and they will never be happy with whatever we may give forward, because everyone have different opinions and views on what they want today and tomorrow and in the future. But as I said, these things that we have talked about, and obviously all of these things here and upcoming roadmaps, all of them will come in just a matter of time and how we put them in what month and what is reasonable to put these together. So I'm happy with the roadmap, but it seems ambitious. It is ambitious in terms of we're not being lazy. I'm sure you guys know that by now. And we also feel that obviously it's been a tough period from release. We got well-deserved bashing from a lot of players, but as you can understand, it's we're all humans. We work very hard, and there's been a lot of stress, and it's not easy, right? And we're trying to do this as good we can, and being as openly transparent as possible we can, and also explain why this may not be the traditional way. If you look at any other MMO developer out there, which is usually around 200 and up to 1,000 people, just play with the thoughts. 500 developers making a huge complex MMO game, or 30 people. We started with 12 people. Obviously, there has to be differences, right? Everything from how we work, how our pipeline works, and everything. So obviously, it will always be a challenge for us to compete when it comes to that refined, polished, that a AAA company with hundreds of developers and going through various different steps, and they have a giant with billions behind them that make sure that they get what they need. Hire more people. Yeah, we are hiring and expanding, but as I mentioned, that is a huge challenge as well. So if we just hire a bunch of developers and push them in, if we hire a lot of them right now, things would fall down pretty much. There will be huge issues left and right. There will be a crackdown on the roadmap, and we would get a lot of issues if we just do that without very careful efforts. Again, it sounds easy. You got some influx of money, just hire developers. Yeah, we know that we need to expand to be able to build more, better, and more stable. We're fully aware of that. We are reinvesting in the development for the fundings that we got so far. And that's always been our plan. And obviously to make sure that we can secure our future so we feel relaxed, even more energized, and can develop an even better game. Because imagine if the team were stressed, don't know if you have money to develop in a few months from now, and that is also affecting the development. So the more secured we are, being relaxed and focus on the development 100% without worrying about other things, and being able to add specific developers and educate them, make sure they go into the pipeline, follow through, and make sure that they are self-going after a certain period of time. That's when we can utilize the expansion and make sure that now we can get value from these different developers when we are confident that everything is working by the pipeline. So it is happening, but like I mentioned, one thing, find that specific talent is extremely hard. All the giants is vacuum, taking a lot of developers. The giants, we are not a giant, so it may be difficult to compete with some of those giants. And also some developers are fans of those big companies like Blizzard, DICE, whatever it may be. Sounds like an excuse. I'm sure you could find devs easy. So if you talk to any consulting firm that is finding developers, you will learn how the world looks today. And that is that to find some specific developers today is extremely difficult. Not even the giants. We have neighbors that is massive, Ubisoft. That is our neighbors. They are constantly looking for specific developers that they can't find. They want to hire all of my team, including me, in a heartbeat. Tomorrow we would be at that office because they are lacking developers as well. So you can understand there's a competition. And I'm not just talking about Malmö in Sweden, I'm talking about worldwide currently. So no, it's not easy. But I can tell you that we have found developers and we are slowly taking a step forward. So I'm very excited to get that in place as well. But we have to be patient because it wouldn't help if we get wrong developers, spending time and resources from our main developers and reach a conclusion, no, it's not going to work, and then restart. And then we have wasted quite some time from those head developers. So no, it's a challenge. But like I said, we are making progress in that field, which makes us very happy. We have outsourced devs from India or elsewhere. We have tried everything. We have tried developers from India, and we have not had great success. We have worked with a few, and a few actually it works quite well. But we also tried a lot of steps where we just saw that it doesn't work for us. So, but we are still evaluating every single option to see what we can find and how that could work. So yeah, we'll try that, and with both success and not success. And Catch 22, yeah, can't get skills without the experience. Can't get experience without getting hired. That's also a very common situation for developers. Can raise skeletons from dead players. So the rituals for Necromancy means that you can put any carcass in a ritual, which means if it's a player carcass, then potentially, yes, you would raise a humanoid from that type that could be your pet. Western Keep is still broken. Yeah, I talked to Sebastian specifically on this because it wasn't just something anyone else in the team just quickly random could do. And Sebastian seems to be the only one that have eyes on that. And yeah, we plan to have that one fixed. It is on our to-do list. It's quite unfortunate it happened. Armory bought a mug. The best game ever made in the history of humanity. Keep it up. Thank you so much. And thank you for buying one of our MMO merchandises. I hope you'll enjoy the mug. Ogmir, the sewer king, right? The sewer Ogmir. All right, so yeah, on the development, again, as I mentioned before, but I got sidetracked. Just wanted to mention briefly. As I mentioned, there are several development steps for many different of the developers in the team, and we have to put this puzzle together to get those features that we want as early as possible. We have heard a lot from you players what you want to see as early as possible, and we try to make that happen obviously as possible, fast as possible also. And we also always try to make sure that we don't just get blinded in terms of focusing on one single area non-stop, which happened quite a bit in the first game. We want to make sure that we stay true to it's a sandbox MMO RPG, and that includes a lot of different areas that needs to connect together to attract a lot of different MMO players that will make the game even more exciting in different ways. And the chance you could make the game app available for people to buy from your shop. I want one in game room. The game app. So we are looking to do some updates on the Milan map, and also obviously we have a feature map making down the road somewhere where this need to be fully fleshed out. We don't have a public detailed Milan map other than the very rough one we have now that we give all new players. But like I said, we have some plans to do an update to make that look even more interesting. And it also ties to character skills eventually when we get map making. So a little bit unsure right now regarding that gaming feature. So we have to see. We need a bit more time until we kind of nail those details regarding both the profession and regarding a map in general. We actually saw a guy making his version of map of Milan, which was quite impressive. Good details and really nice map making skills. So we will see. Shields, indeed. So that is one of the things. So as I mentioned, we are expanding in animation manpower, and we're looking to start animating. We have the tower shields. I don't know if I showed you the shields, have I? But anyway, we have those produced. Now the animation work needs to start for them to be added to the game. And this is where that comes down. Again, we have a few animators that we are testing and trying to see if it's gonna work. And yes, we plan to add tower shields. We said that since we are a little bit unsure due to that animation manpower progress, we didn't add it here, but it will most likely come in one of these patches, even though it's not on the roadmap. But since we weren't sure how it's going to progress with the animators, we don't want to put it on a date and disappoint. But there's a very high chance that you will get the tower shields in one of these patches. Is the mid-April patch coming in one lump sum, or are there some of them coming in sooner? No. So we have they're split in 4 packages pretty much, so 4 patches. So mid-April is the upcoming patch with those 4 focused areas, along with some other minor things and polishing fixes, and such as the healing clade XP gain. That is also going in here, but not listed. So it's going to be one quite big patch on mid-April, and then the second one, end of April, is another big patch with those areas there. So it's in 4 distinct patches. Again, as long as everything goes as planned. I want to, again, add that warning, so you guys don't want to hate me. That, obviously we have to make sure that if we feel that here it's too buggy or whatever it may be, I think it's always safer to take the time and until we can release it. But this is our schedule, and we feel comfortable with this schedule, and we have also gone through them in, you know, with margins of error. But again, you know, you never know what could happen during the development, so we always have to be prepared for some adjustment if necessary for the better for the game. So yeah, again, on a development, I don't know why I get off track here, but on our development, we are working on some important steps, you know, getting closer to be able to release those functions, such as TC functions, where you can, when we take the step into hiring NPC services, constructing specific things to grow your city and so forth. There's going to be a cost system, prominence system, so there's a new currency getting into the game. Again, all these things, we didn't want to add them on release day, because again, we know what a release day means for a game like this. Chaos and different issues that we have to struggle with. So, you know, a lot of you guys have been worried about the economy. We have cheaters. We have banned over 1,500 accounts so far since we deployed our systems. So yeah, we have battled hard against these individuals. The good part is that, you know, we are getting better and better control, and you know, we're fighting them, and it's not easy to pull those crap anymore. So again, there's a good reason also why we don't want to add everything on launch day, because we knew that there can be issues, and there will be issues. If all currencies and resources were in the game day one, there's a high chance that more of these will be diluted in different ways. So again, it's also a security measurement in taking secure step when we're ready. Oh, another mug. Can't pay sub for my account. I got to get the mug instead. Great roadmap. Super excited for the future. Keep it up, man. From a fellow Swedish Viking. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the support, and I hope you enjoy that mug. And a Swedish Viking. Yeah, so there's a few important systems coming along with that TC work that we mentioned here on development. Thievery is another big profession that a lot of you guys have been asking for since beta. We are working towards that as well. And we have Beastmaster, and that obviously ties to domination and taming, that we want to, you know, get fully patched in the areas where I mentioned this before as well, but again, short. We want to add as much player skills as possible, how you use powerful pets. In the first game, you could use powerful pets, but there were no real player requirement skills in terms of, you know, for instance, when you're fighting, there's a high player control involvement in if you're going to be good or bad in a battle. We want to push that as much as possible as well when you're playing as a tamer, both because we want to make it exciting and fun and challenging, but also it's obviously a very important way of balancing powerful creatures. There will be powerful creatures, but the obvious balance would be beast mastery in tools. So there's a cost risk requirement, and also if you are not actively using your pet in the right challenging way, it will perform much worse than, you know, someone else that know how to use their pet effectively. And if not, and if you're pushed away, it will simply stand there and kind of defend itself without any special engagement or special attacks. So that is what we want to add this time around that we didn't really have in Modern 1. So again, a lot of important work is being done in that area, so those players that enjoy it can really get enjoyment out of it. But also overall, since it very quickly ties into PvP, we want to make sure that there's a PvP balance as well that is fun for all sides. There's going to be a lot of different counters for pets and different tools that, you know, should be fun engagement in fighting or defending or using pets, in short. So yeah, that is that. And then obviously sieging, like I mentioned early on, Sieging is a huge complex system. We know exactly what we need to do and what mechanics we want to add, that we also talked about a little bit, that you guys seem very excited about. But again, we can't reuse a lot of what we had in the first game because it's not stable enough. Again, any siege weapons, offensive or defense weapon, needs to be completely reliable and stable, because first, it costs a lot to produce and manage them, and also obviously they wreak mayhem, right? So this system is most likely the ones that we want to push on a public test shard, where you guys can play around with them, finding issues and give your feedback, so we can make sure that they're set for when we push them on live server. So we may need your help there, guys, if you're interested in testing that on a public test server. And yeah, we have some very exciting upcoming boss, creature, and behavior. Obviously we're all inspired about games like Elden Ring. That is a huge release currently that a lot of people are playing. So obviously when we're looking at those games, there are always some cool things and inspiration, etc. So it's cool because you're gonna see, again, behavior. Our tier 2 and tier 3 AI is something that you don't typically see in other MMOs, but in Immortal Online you will see it. So if you are a fan of fighting creatures, bosses, games like Elden Ring, or just going at different bosses and challenges, you will see a lot of that growing as well in Immortal Online. We got really good feedback from all of you guys that have been trying our bosses so far, and most of it is super positive and that you find it exciting. Karma, thank you for the subscription. Thanks for the best 4 months of my adult life, big guy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I do enjoy you streaming the game. I always lurk when you guys stream it, because like I said, it's, again, both relaxing and good entertainment, but also obviously good things to get as developers to see what's going on when you're playing a game. What is the news about the rare clade gifts? I got only when you talked about being a vampire. So yeah, that is one of the features that is not on the roadmap, and it will be eventually. So when all these are done, obviously we're gonna update the roadmap with the next coming months. And again, we try to mold these roadmaps based on play interests. What does most of you guys want, and what we may be missing as well, and that we need more of. So I can't say at this point where that one is, because there's a few things also that measure when we can put it in a timeline. If this is a feature that starts mysterious and slow without reaching to many players, then you can understand that there's a prioritized order on that. Arcane, with the mug, what will the books of Lexicon of Death do? Are they cosmetic? Will they add effects to spells? Very excited to see advancements in this game. I've been playing for about 2.5 years now. Thanks for my dream game. Thank you very much. And yeah, like I said, now finally, when production continues, magic will be something that will keep being development. We have dedicated guys on the magic schools, because we have many. We didn't reach too many in the first game. This time we will get them all. It's just a matter of time and prior order. So those books, I actually need a few meetings with Mats when it comes to some things like that. So again, I want to, as much as is possible, I want to make sure that everything is refined, renamed, and corrected this time around. We want to make sure there's a core lore from now and for the future that all fits and makes sense. So, everything is tied in a certain way, more or less. And Mats, as you know, is our lore god when it comes to Mortal Online. And also designing a lot of the cool, complex systems. This is where he really shines. So, obviously, there's quite a few areas that he's heavily invested in terms of making sure we get the best features possible. So I will have to get back on that question if we decide to have specific mods or not. Again, there's always a key word or key rule for us, and that is how PvP is affected. We really respect the PvP balance. I want to make sure that player knowledge and skills always triumph huge grinds or too powerful items if it's not, special cases like, Source of Tears, relics, where it makes sense that they may be powerful, but there's also a great risk, full loot, you can pass on to anyone, and, the different rules for those. So that's something I'll always reconsider. So if this is a rare thing that instantly connects to PvP balance, we want to make sure that that is under control. Because like we said in many cases, there will always be a huge area for any PvP players to just pick one character up. You can build a foot fighter very quickly. You can make a mage quite quickly, and then all the different variations. But obviously, depending on the different schools coming, many of them will be quite specific and more rare. That obviously means you may not just pick that up on day one as a new player that want to play as that mage with that magic school. It may be in some investment if you want to go that direction for that specific school. But I think that makes sense, Yeah, so poisoning is one of those. So again, we have assassination skills on the upcoming roadmap, not here as you can see. We haven't determined quite a few that is after this roadmap. But assassination and poisoning skills is on the list. We just haven't reached the point where we see, again, this is a puzzle. How do we distribute this work between the 30 developers? And when we're, art coders, it all depends on how we put this puzzle together. But yes, that is a profession that will be on the upcoming roadmap. And yeah, we're also are working on a very interesting thing. Yes, we will be looking on auction house improvements for sure. There's room for good quality of life options that many of you guys have suggested that we are adding to the list. But yeah, so we have looked a lot on both new players and old players walking around in the world. How did they experience the world? We have added, I think we're up to, 40,000 something creatures. That sounds insane, right? But a huge world just eats them all. So it's not really sustainable just to keep adding thousands of creatures, because it also comes at the cost on the server. But obviously we want to make the game world feel exciting, interesting in different ways, but still keep it believable. Like we said many times, many of you guys understand what we mean with, we don't want a typical World of Warcraft world where you take 10 steps, you have 5 wolves, 10 more steps, you have the level 10 wolves, and then level 20 wolves, and then the, like that kind of progression when they're just standing there unnaturally. We try to make it look like exciting real world, but obviously at the same time, we want to make sure it's interesting enough to actually explore and feel rewarding enough. So we are working on also a interest point system. You can see it on the development as well. Got some inspiration from various games and systems that can really help us with this specific area. And that means that, for instance, you'll be able to see a light source during nighttime, and you may go there and there will be different things. It can be creatures, humanoids, bandits, different types, but also rewards, hidden treasures, anything. And there will also be lore-bound things spread out in the world. So it feels like there's history in the world, Many years have passed. Here's a trace of something that happened, either a week ago in gameplay wise or years ago. And that also allows us to add text lore components, but also different types of items and rares. And like I said, different types of bandits that may, run around these different things. So you will see additional systems going in that will make the world feel more exciting and alive, but also very rewarding and exploring. And also, again, it allows us to tie more history to the game world. That feels like, this is a old, living, breathing world with history.
Another one.
Yeah. So I guess that is the key point worth mentioning here. Is the release to Epic Store in this timeline. So one of the big thing that we have as a requirement with Epic Store release is some of the backend stuff we're working on here simultaneously. And that is something that we are, again, working on a daily basis. We have done really good progression in this area. That is nothing we, put in patch notes, and we don't want to, there's no reason for us to talk about it until we reach the milestones and make sure that the game speaks for itself, right? Capacity, stability, and progression on this exciting roadmap and upcoming roadmaps. But obviously we are in contact with Epic Games on a daily basis right now. Kagori got a Tinremic t-shirt. I wanted a 100,000 player PvP game, and all I got was these lousy t-shirts. I'm very sad to hear that. And yeah, it would be awesome to have a 100,000 player PvP game, for sure. And hopefully we will surpass those numbers in the future. That is our goal, to steadily grow every year with a growing world and growing amount of features and content that will hopefully attract many different players worldwide. And yeah, the next step is one step towards starting to expand again, releasing exciting content, having a backend in place, releasing on additional platforms and in different regions, and grow with control is the goal. Yeah, I understand it was a little ironic message, but again, I know that there are many people out there that thinks that, or I was very unclear that I meant 100,000 players on Myrland. That was unclear to me, I guess, so I want to make that clear a 10th time. that is never something gonna happen. There is no physical way of having 100,000 players on the land continent of Myrland. As you can understand, when playing for a while on the continent, you will understand that 100,000 players physically wouldn't fit. So that is, the long-term goals, to reach those numbers. And also not simultaneously. So having a active player base of 100,000 players obviously doesn't mean 100,000 players are online concurrently. Roughly, again, a 10th, so that would be a 10,000. And those numbers we are 100% certain that we will cover when our work is done and we're expanding our land as well. And that is the progression we are working towards, and will reach those steps over time. Lady G also bought a t-shirt. This is an amazing game, love it. Thank you very much. And again, thank you so much for buying merchandise. That goes straight to the development, and it makes a difference. All the support, guys, you are giving us, again, it sounds like talk, that sure, support, we think it's awesome, it's a fun game, but really it is a huge difference when you are an independent small company with limited resources, and you guys and us developers are the main control over Mortal Online's future. That's it, pure. There is no one else that will go into this and change that, if it doesn't simply fit our development and it brings something good out of it. But it's up to us to deliver this game, and if you guys enjoy the game and support us, then obviously we are both in the winning category in terms of having a exciting sandbox MMORPG on the market. And that is one of my biggest passion, because there's nothing for me personally when it comes to a true sandbox MMORPG. There's nothing of interest, and it's quite sad, being 2022 and there's nothing, just another after another theme park game going up. It's cool and many may be good, but I think many of you guys know what type of game we're looking at here, what we're trying to reach. And what's really cool is that a lot of newcomers that haven't been playing those old golden gems, the true sandbox MMOs such as Star Wars Galaxies, Ultima Online, there are quite a few of those in the past. They're coming here and being interested, and that is exciting. Saint Mark, when will we be able to share houses with friends? That is the housing function you see here on the April first batch house functions. So that is the tools for you to make a co-owner and also give access with passwords. So you can pretty much give password to your guild or friends, and then we'll be able to enter the building and access those chests that you choose. So next patch. Got someone buying a mug. Thank you very much, whoever it is. Thank you very much. No character slot progression at this point, and as we mentioned a little bit before, we are not unsure when it comes to that. So we have to see down the road. Shall we do some giveaways, guys, before it gets too late, so we don't forget about that? We actually have I have some goodies, guys. I want to show you. 1 second, let me find what I'm looking at here. So this little beauty, this little gamer beauty, we wanna give away. So if you need a good gaming mouse, I'm gonna give you the command for that in 1 second. So let's wait 1 second. Why is that one lagging? 1 second, let me restart that. One second, guys. I don't have the command yet. Uno momento. It's not MO2, so calm down, guys. Calm down. Give me a moment. Just gonna try this first. I make sure it works. It's a little laggy. I don't know why. One moment. Just gonna make sure the giveaway is working correctly, so we don't disappoint someone. Doesn't seem to be working correctly. So that's good, I tried it. What is going on here? Let me see. Why? my stream, it's not lagging, right? It's working smooth. I hope. What the hell is going on with my... Smooth. All right, good. No, so guys, it's not exclamation mark MO2 yet. So wait a moment until I get the giveaway going, guys. I'm gonna just make sure it's actually working. I haven't restarted my computer for what, a month. And I think it's getting a little tired. Gonna see if I can get this to work, and then or I have to do a traditional start giveaway. Let's shut that one off. I want the artwork of the game map, and I want to throw money at you guys so I can get a physical copy of the map. Please make this happen. Love you guys. Zero Hub, I appreciate that comment. We have to see. We are actually one of the guys looking into the map making thing and how the map should be updated. So there is a chance that we may be able to do something, but we need a little bit more time. And I'm trying to get this thing going before we wait. It's not explanation giveaway, guys. Calm down. Give me a moment before I start the giveaway, guys. So you don't have to write any command at this point. I haven't started it yet. I will start it as soon as I have the stuff ready, working for it. I don't know why this is... Something is wrong with my giveaway tool, guys. Let me see if I can shut down some things. My computer isn't happy today. I've been running it for too long, I think. Just give it to me. It's gonna be okay. Indeed, indeed. We will get it sorted. We will get it sorted. Right, I'm gonna restart my window here. We'll get something working in a moment, guys. In a momento. Why do I have a red mark on my OBS? Is that because I'm live, guys? I've noticed that before. I guess it is, right? Red mark live, yeah, I thought so, right? All right, let's see if I can get it now then. Hopefully. No. Or? No, shit, it's super laggy. I don't know what's going on. Okay, how can we do this then? How can we do this? Everything else is smooth, so let's see if I can. Restart your PC. I mean, my other things are smooth, so I was hoping to not be able to do that, but I'm running so much crap that I'm using on a daily basis. So really that. Oh, someone bought a mug. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. God damn it. Sorry, guys. This is why I need one of those Twitch Pro mods that can handle all these things for me. Because I'm too noob. I'm simply too noob. Let's see if we can do a little window. I have way too many Google Chrome tabs. I'm gonna restart this window. One moment, guys. Let's see if this helps. Now I restarted everything. Where do I have that? Chrome 8 is RAM. Indeed. Indeed. It may have. It may have. It ate my RAM. Patience, my children. Patience. Yeah. Download more RAM. Yeah, maybe I need to download more RAM. That could be it, guys. Could be it. God damn it. God damn it. Haven't started yet, no. But I will either figure this out within a minute, or I have to find a random giveaway thing. There's not many out there that is controllable, I think. Or do you know one website or a decent giveaway that is easy to use? Maybe if I reinstall the damn shit. Let me try. Check CPU fluid. You're supposed to change it every 3 months. Oh my god, every 3 months. Now that I haven't. I think I'm on my what is it? 1.5 year. Do you think it's time, guys? to change my liquid fluid. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. What is your favorite sauce? And why is it mayonnaise? Is it mayonnaise? I like what's the English name for it? Béarnaise. I have no clue if that is a sauce that exists outside of Sweden even. La Mèche. Yeah, it looks like I need to restart my computer or something because it's not normal. Béarnaise is French. It's French. All right, all right. Guys, do you have the patience for a quick reboot? Because whatever I try, it don't wanna. Something is fishy today. All right, let me do a quick reboot because, yeah, the giveaway doesn't seem to work. I'm just shutting down everything else now just to see if... Wait. No. I'm shutting down everything and give it one last try, and then if it doesn't work, then yeah, I think I have to do a little reboot because I think my computer is tired. It's not happy. Something is acting strange. Final try and then no. Okay, we'll do a quick reboot, guys. PC tired. A quick restart. I've been running it for too many days or weeks even that I've made it strange. So if you guys can give me just a few minutes, and I will do a quick reboot, and then we will do 3 mouse giveaways, 1 mortal copy giveaway. So it will be worth it. Give me like 3 minutes or 1 minute. Okay, guys, see you in just a few.